Hello! Welcome to the Jordan Warburton Occurrence, episode 11. It's big boy numbers now. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. So, as you might see behind me, I've moved things around, so I got my little signs in the background here. I got my arc reactor and a little spaceman waving to us. Hello, spaceman. So, let's look where this is going to take us. It's not really a proper script. I got a bit bullet points to go through. So I may end up on aliens, or I may stick to what I meant to be talking about. We'll see where it goes. So, right. Let's start again. It's amazing time of year, Christmas and New Year. I love it because it's proper intimate time with the kids, friends, family, and just everything's slow. You can reflect on the year that's gone. And nobody knows what day it is, but I do because I had socks to tell me what day it is. So what this episode is today, it's not polished, not that any episodes ever are, but it's just me checking in, sort of looking back at what I've done in the past year, what the podcast has done for me personally, and where I want it to go next. Which is, always good, because if it's just going to be the same all the time, then nothing ever gets better. Nothing changes. So, let's me do a bit of reflecting on my 2025. I would like to think that I've grown as an individual. I didn't achieve everything I wanted to, but that's okay, because I had personal challenges. Some I didn't see coming, and some that really didn't see coming, and it was like a frying pan to the face of 60 miles an hour. So let's delve into that a bit deeper. 2025 mentally for me is probably one of the hardest years I've ever had to go through. I had to sort of fight my own demons, and part of that was the topics I talked about in the podcast. Sometimes it brought up wounds for me. I didn't realise we're still wounded anymore. But I think that's good, because it means you can look back and work on it and hopefully heal them for good. And probably the most challenging thing for me this year has just been my own mental health battle, where it just felt like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I'm just too proud and too stubborn to ask for help. I know if you listen to my last episode, you've probably sort of seen that in some of my messaging. And I think part of that was I was stuck in my old way of thinking, where instead of being open to my friends and family around me and saying, I'm not good, I need a bit of help, I need somebody to tell me what's going on, or am I being irrational? I was stuck in, I can do it on my own. And this time round, I really couldn't do it on my own. And I sort of sat there wishing somebody would catch me out when I was lying. But unfortunately, I've got, say 20 years of practice of pretending I'm okay. So I've gotten, unfortunately, really good at hiding how I'm really feeling. So this sort of leads into, I weren't really responding to my own mental health. I was just reacting on a day-by-day basis, and that's never good because you're stuck in this weird slump. But then this sort of led me into surprising how resilient I am and how quickly I can pull myself out of a rut when I realise that I'm in that rut. So it was more the fact that I knew I was in a rut, but then the turnaround and doing more, making more of an active effort, not just with my friends, family, but on me, myself. Because at the end of the day, we should be our own personal investors. We should always invest in ourselves, because no matter what people tell you, it's not selfish to look after yourself. Because at the end, if you're looking after yourself in a really good way, people around you benefit from that. They benefit you being happy and creative, or just doing the things you love. And that's really important, and it's something we all need to like come to grips with. Is it's okay to think that you're being selfish, but you're not, because the more you invest in you, the more you also invest in the other people around you by doing that. So basically, I think over the last year I've actually become a bit more self-aware. I always thought I was self-aware before, but now I think I'm at a level where I know to recognize the signs. I may be wrong, but I feel I'm in a much better place, in a much better way of thinking, and I'm not catching myself in victim thinking anymore. And rather than sitting in discomfort and trying to escape it, I just sit with it and process. And I think that's something I've always struggled with. It just really kept me at ease over the years, just escaping the discomfort. Not feeling good, I'll just play games to just keep my mind active. But it's good at the time, but that really comes back to bite you in the arse eventually. So, I want to talk about what this channel's meant to me in the last year. It's really reinvested in myself, and it started as I was fed up of hearing people talk about mental health and it's okay to not be okay, and nobody just doing anything about it, and I just wanted things to change. So I thought I'd be the change I wanted in the world. Whether that comes to life or not is another story, but I'd rather say I tried than sit there wishing for somebody else to do it. I don't know, this has really helped me about speaking out loud as well, because it sometimes I'll just post a video and then somebody will click on what I've said and then they can reach out, and it's also given me that accountability then of actually embracing and taking the help. It's forced me to be honest in so many different ways. And I've never been a performer, but I felt like when I first started I was trying to perform and be like the podcaster stereotype. But it sort of became this place where I could process my own thoughts, and it was really interesting to me sometimes because I'd be talking about a topic and then it'd bring up real life scenarios in my head as I was talking about them. And in some ways, I guess it became a mirror more than a megaphone. And then I look back in some episodes, and it feels like they were more for me than anyone else, and I was just talking out loud, but it was helping me process the struggles on in my own head. I never want to be the person to have all the answers, but I love the idea of being able to help people find their own answers, because I think mental health is this behemoth that there's no one answer to everything, because everyone deals and processes through their emotions so differently. It's nice, I think it's nice to listen to somebody else who's been through similar and hear what they've found helps. And it might be something you never tried before, and that might help. Or it might lead into something else that works with you. So let's move on to the next one. What I've learned along the way. Sorry, just scrolling down because I'll talk about things I've learned in work as well, and we don't want to do that. So I think one of the main things I've learned, you don't change by chasing happiness. You've got to find happiness in yourself and just take risks, because it's easy to get comfortable in a situation or scenario and never try anything different, and that can be dangerous because it just doesn't give you any accountability of who you are. And I think part of that happened to me last year. I sort of lost who I was. I forgot how to be just me, and I found myself masking my personality around different people, or just like being like quiet or not saying much to people. And I think, it's only the last couple of months where I've just gone, you know what, I am me. If people don't like it, I don't care. I'm happy in who I am. I think I'm a decent person. Some people may disagree, but that's up to them. I don't mind. I'm not afraid of people agreeing or disagreeing with me anymore. And I think one of the big things you got to remember, mindfulness isn't calm in your mind. It's awareness. It's knowing when you need to work on something and give yourself a kick up the arse to like not fall into old routines and habits. What I think one of my favourite things I've heard this year, accountability is quiet. It's not dramatic. This is something a lot of people need to learn, where just take accountability for the things you've done. Right or wrong, take accountability for it. It doesn't matter. The sooner you accept that you've done it, whether you think it was a malicious act or not, or take accountability. Because if you've hurt somebody who loves feelings or something along those lines because of your actions, just take accountability. Work on it. Understand that it's not about you and being right or wrong. It's about understanding other people and not just your own perception of the world. And the great thing about doing a podcast is some episodes really resonate with people, and they will just message about what I talked about and what it meant to them, and how sometimes I've had somebody message me saying, "You've really helped me understand how my mind works just by explaining it the way you did." And I love that. That's what I wanted, is just, me talking to help somebody. So, what's next for the channel? So, realistically, this channel's really hard for me to maintain, because I work 50 to 70 hours a week. Then I got my kids every weekend. I only get a day, a fortnight to actually work on this. But, life happens. I've got a house to maintain on my own. I've got other things. I've got friends, family who I don't always get chances to visit because I work away. So it's really hard to maintain. But what I really want this channel to become is a safe space, a community, and somewhere where people come to and find it as a place of help. And I want it to become a place where I can interview people, whether it's experts or just people with their own life experiences. And that's why I haven't had any guests on, because, like I said, I get a day to myself, a fortnight, and then if I try and arrange a guest and they're not free that day, it just blows everything out of the water, and it's been really hard. So I've been thinking about doing like remote guests, but I'll have to properly look into that, because I have no idea. I did realistically want somebody sat next to me and just, talk about life. It doesn't have to be about mental health. It could just be about their experience, what they think about it. Maybe I'll get them to talk about aliens. We don't know. I don't know. I have the funny way of doing things like this. So But I've talked about what I want it to be. What I don't want it to be is just me making stuff just for the sake of making stuff. I'd rather it be stuff I really want to talk about and people actually want to see. Because, you know, ideally it'd be nice to turn this into a career and have more free time and be able to have like a consistent schedule. But I don't want it to come the sacrifice of just talking about Bill and Ben becoming flower pot people instead of flower pot men. You know, I'd rather just stuff I actually want to talk about and interest me. So coming in, we're in 2026 now. So I'm gonna focus on being more consistent because that's one of the things I've struggled with is consistency. I'm gonna try and, even if it's just getting a script done one evening in a week when I'm away, or doing partial recordings here and there, and just get it out there more often so that people don't forget about me, I guess. So yeah, I think consistency over perfection is going to be the focus going into the year, and I'd rather have like proper depth over being viral because I don't know how many times I've seen people go viral and then in a week people forget who they are or they just become a meme, like the Ibiza boss man. Didn't follow him, so I don't know what he's doing. He might be doing well, but I don't know. And I think doing that, I need to be more open, doing check-ins, whether it's just a short video, like a 2-minute video, saying how my month's been or something like that. And then just exploring the more uncomfortable topics, the things that make me uncomfortable putting them out on the internet. But I think that's important as well, is doing what I'm asking people to do is be uncomfortable and talk about it. And I want the channel to just evolve naturally and not sort of blow up and quickly go out of control. Because, you see it time and time again, not just in like content creation but business, people get too big too fast, forget who they are and lose their core audience, and then they try and chase that core audience back, but once they've gone, they're gone. So what mindset do I want to carry forward? I want to carry forward that you can't chase your goals and be happy consistently. You can chase your goals and still be sad, but you've got to show up for yourself. You've got to show up for what you believe in. And I think that's an important lesson for us all, because sometimes I think we're unrealistic, where we're like, dream big and stuff like that. Yeah, but dreaming's good, but can you make it into a plan? Can you action that plan? If you've seen Simon Squibb, I recommend reading his book, What's Your Dream? Because that really sort of nails down what a dream should be. It's so well and good. I want to be a millionaire. Yeah, okay, most of us do, but how do you get there? What do you need to do? What sacrifices are you willing to make? And they're really hard questions, but it's true, because you can't just be a millionaire just by chasing a penny down the street. It's got to be something. It's got to be an actionable dream. So I suppose that sort of leads into like, stop chasing things and just be more present in your own life. Stop putting things in a back burner. Just do it. So I think the things I'm leaving behind from 2025 is negative energy. Yeah, well, I wish, because well, that follows you around somewhere. But I think what I'm leaving behind is trying to take control of things I can't control. Life isn't meant to be controlled, it's meant to be lived and enjoyed. And I think when you try and control things in your life, it creates and causes anxiety, and then which leads to stress, and then sort of spirals to like self-doubt, knocks in confidence, and then it leads to guilt as well sometimes, because if you say, oh, I want to do this in 3 months, but then you don't do it, you feel guilty for not doing it, and it just makes you feel worse. So I think less self-judgment and just more observation about and how, rather than just thinking about it and then being like, oh, I can't afford to buy this because I might need money for this. It's just, I think I'm just gonna go for it, and if I do need money for this, I'll figure out at the time, because that time may come up 3 weeks later, 2 months later. You just don't know. You just never know. Obviously, I'm not telling people to just go, I'm going to spend 3 grand on Bitcoin because it's going to be worth 20 grand in 2 months. Don't take this as financial advice. It's just my example. My example. Don't copy me. Bad call. Bad call. So, I like this. If you're listening to this and you've got this far, because I've probably rambled on for a while by this point, I hope you give him permission to take things slower and just enjoy life. And just enjoy the moments. Go for a walk. Stop looking at your phone. Just enjoy what's around you. Listen to music. Just take some time to like enjoy the world around you, because it's amazing, and there's a lot of people around you, and let's be honest, some people are assholes, but a lot of people aren't, and we've all got different life experiences, and it's interesting to think about how people see the world. Well, I find it interesting anyway. So I'm going to close this episode here because I'm not really sure how long I've been chatting shit for. So I want to thank you all for being here. And even if it's just one listener, you all matter, and it keeps me motivated to just keep making more content. So my final message to you: reflect on things before taking action, because if it's a life choice, don't sit in it for too long, but reflect on what it means in the short term and then the long term, and then make a decision. Again, not financial advice. So wherever you're listening from, I appreciate being here, and we'll see where this goes together. Love you, bye. This is episode 11, the Jordan Warburton Occurrence. I will see you in the next episode, which is episode 12, big numbers now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. I have a Patreon too. Don't really know how that works yet, but we'll figure it out. Love you, bye.